Good afternoon, I'm Sally Biddulph. Labour has accused Boris Johnson of being a coward for quitting as an MP after he learned he could face suspension from Parliament. Mr Johnson dramatically resigned last night after he received the findings of a cross-party investigation into whether he lied to the Commons. Well, our political correspondent Harry Horton is in Mr Johnson's constituency of Uxbridge and South Ruislip this lunchtime. Harry, many still shocked by this sudden resignation.
Yeah, I think they are. And speaking to some voters here in Uxbridge this morning, lots of them are sad that Boris Johnson has decided to quit. Some of them are angry at what they see as a coup to try and force him out. It was an extraordinary statement from Boris Johnson last night where he lashed out at the Privileges Committee that had been investigating him over what he said to Parliament about parties during lockdown, lashing out at Rishi Sunak and his fellow MPs. But there will be a new MP here in Uxbridge. There will be a by-election at Labour, hoping they can steal the seat from the Conservatives. And Labour's Deputy Leader Angela Rayner, speaking today, said Boris Johnson has only got himself to blame for the fact this by-election is happening.
Well, I think Boris Johnson has shown himself to be a coward once more. You know, he's not held his hands up to and taken responsibility as he should do. The Privileges Committee, a well-respected committee that are made up majority of Tory MPs, and he's just tried to trash them and say, I've got no responsibility, I've done nothing wrong.
So, Harry, what has the government response been?
Well, one minister speaking today has said that the government is focused on trying to win this by-election, or the Conservative Party trying to win this by-election, keep hold of this seat. But look, challenges for Rishi Sunak. He doesn't want any divisions to reopen in his party. He's got this headache now of two by-elections that he's facing, not just here, but one in mid-Bedfordshire as well. We will get that Privileges Committee report next week, and we'll all get to see what was in it and what pushed Boris Johnson to quit as an MP.
Harry, thank you very much. Now, it's expected to be the hottest weekend of the year so far. Fabulous weather to be out and about in for many, bar the odd thunderstorm. But there are some warnings in place for the most vulnerable. Vincent McAviney is lucky enough to be in Bournemouth for us this lunchtime. Hi, Vincent. Lots of people enjoying the weather where you are then.
Yeah, that's right. It's a lovely day down here on Bournemouth Beach. It's around 22 degrees. There's a nice little sea breeze keeping everyone cool. And as you can see, the beach is absolutely packed with families enjoying the sunshine. Now, it's going to be a little bit warmer further inland in the southeast, London and the East Midlands. It's looking at getting up to the low 30s. So there are some health warnings in place. People are being advised, of course, to drink plenty of water, put on the sunscreen, stay in the shade if possible. And if you have elderly neighbours or relatives, do look after them, because sometimes they're not that great at keeping themselves cool. So make sure that they are staying hydrated today and indoors if possible. Now, as you mentioned there are some warnings that there could be thunderstorms as well over the course of the weekend. But lots of people at the moment just enjoying this sunshine, really the first good weekend that we've had all year so far.
Vincent in Bournemouth, thank you very much. And a full weather forecast is coming up just after the news. 4 children who survived a plane crash in the Colombian jungle but were then lost for 40 days have been found alive. The oldest of the 4 siblings is 13, the youngest just a baby. Colombia's president called it a magical day that has filled the country with joy. Harry Fawcett has their incredible story.
Pulled out of the darkness, out of the forest, and at last to safety. The scarcely believable conclusion to a story of survival for 4 young siblings who'd managed to keep themselves alive, alone in the Amazon for 40 days. Rescuers said the children, the eldest 13, the youngest just 11 months, were suffering from malnutrition and were given immediate medical care. From an indigenous community, it's believed the eldest had some knowledge about how to live off the land. Colombia's President Gustavo Petro said they had been taken care of by the jungle, calling their survival a gift to his nation, one that would become history. The children had been travelling with their mother and 2 pilots in a single-engined plane, which crashed on the 1st of May. The adults' bodies were recovered, but there was no sign of the children, prompting a weeks-long search by troops and volunteers from local indigenous tribes. I can't wait to hug them, all four of them, their grandmother says. I've already received my daughter's remains. With that pain that I was in, well, now I'm going to be positive. It was her amplified voice that had been used to tell the children to stay put and await rescue. The rescue efforts, the children's extraordinary efforts, have ended in the unlikeliest family reunion. All four have now arrived in the capital, Bogotá, for continued medical treatment. Harry Fawcett, ITV News.
And finally, it's the day of reckoning for Manchester City fans. Already winners of the Premier League and the FA Cup, City have the chance to complete a historic treble if they can beat Inter Milan in tonight's Champions League final. Our sports editor Steve Scott is in Istanbul.
So tonight is the culmination of 15 years' work by the club's Abu Dhabi owners and an obsession of Pep Guardiola to win the Champions League with Manchester City. For all their domestic dominance, they've never won a Champions League title before. They got to the final 2 years ago against Chelsea and lost. They were overwhelming favourites then. They're overwhelming favourites tonight, but Milan like to defend and will enjoy frustrating City. When it comes to a big one-off final, then reputation counts for very little. Ironically, City are trying to emulate what neighbours Manchester United did to win the treble. They did that in 1999. If they do that, inevitably the discussions will start about which of those is the better team, but also discussions will continue about how City got here, turbocharged by Gulf cash, and whether that is fair and in fact welcome for football in general.
Steve Scott reporting there from Istanbul. Well, that's all the news we have for you for now. Gamal will be here with all the latest just before 6:30. Until then, do enjoy the sunshine and have a great afternoon.